go for it. So this Laura's coming in. Okay, so let's just click got it. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Christmas food extravaganza 2022. I can't believe it's come around again. It just doesn't seem possible that it was 2 years ago in lockdown that we did our very first one, which went down in history, where we all discovered the joys of toffee fee liqueur, which is maybe even better than the homemade Baileys. But by the end of the session, all of the advisors and all of the customers were very merry. So it was a brilliant event that everybody all still talks about. So this evening, just to let you know sort of what the process is I'm going to just very quickly do some introductions and then just introduce you and to the machine, and then we're going to get cooking. Really, I want to be doing this. I want to be done within 10 minutes because the main thing is that you guys just see the food and the recipes that we're going to cook and how easy and quick it is with the Thermomix to pull together a whole range of recipes that will be amazing for your Christmas table. So I'm just going to introduce myself very quickly to start with. So my name is Lindsay. I'm a team leader for Thermomix. I'm a trained chef. I have been with Thermomix now, selling Thermomix for about 4 years. I was a really tough sell. It took me, I think, nearly 5 years for the advisor who initially came across me a long time ago to convince me that a Thermomix would improve my life. And now I have 4 or 5 of them. So I am a complete convert. I'm an absolute Thermomix geek. I do everything with my Thermomix. I absolutely love it. And I've had a lot of fun along the way. And then somehow I seem to have completely ditched my food business and replaced it entirely with Thermomix. So that's me. So cooking alongside me this evening, I've got a team of lovely advisors. Louise, I don't know if you're going to be able to spotlight people. If I could just show everybody who they are. If we can go over, maybe first of all, let's go to Cutty. Just say hello to Cutty. If this doesn't work, if it takes too long, then we'll ditch this bit.
Hi, I'm Cutty, or Sarah. I've been doing it now for nearly 2 years. I bought it for my husband because I hated cooking. I couldn't cook. I had no confidence in it. Bought one for him, and then I was like, wow, this thing is amazing. And I suddenly started enjoying cooking again, and now I have an absolute love for it. So I was telling everybody how amazing it was, and that's why I became an advisor.
Excellent, thank you. And then let's go to Marie.
Hi everybody. So I'm Marie, and I have been a Thermomix advisor with Lindsay now for just over 3 years. And like Lindsay, my background is in catering and hospitality, and I wanted to use the Thermomix. The reason that I got it was to support me in starting my own food business up, and I didn't want to negotiate home cooked meals for the fact that I was going to be very, very busy setting up a business of my own. So owning the Thermomix enabled me to do that and use it within the business. And I just fell in love with it and kept telling everybody about it. So here I am.
And I have to say, Marie makes incredible chocolate. We're very lucky to have her this evening because she is absolutely rammed with Christmas chocolate orders at the moment. But she's giving us an evening of her time. So thank you, Marie. Right, let's go to Linda next.
Okay, so hi everybody. Yeah, I bought a Thermomix for myself. At the time I was living on my own, but I really loved the machine. And then my family all wanted one, and I thought, hey, what's the point? I might as well be an advisor. Tell them. I love it, and I am an absolute Thermomix.
Thermomix for, I love it. Right, we'll say no more. You can keep that for later, Linda. Okay, let's go to who we've got, Claire, as well with us this evening for the first time. So delighted to have Claire with us as part of the team for the first time.
Hi, so I'm Claire. I've been an advisor for nearly 8 years, so quite a long time. Recently joined Lindsay's team. Yes, I started off with the TM31, went to the TM5, TM6, I've probably got about 8 machines dotted around the country with various family members because they can't live without them either.
Brilliant. And then we've got just a couple of, I've just introduced Louise is doing our admin for this evening. Louise, if you want to give us a wave. Louise is one of our really new team members. Louise is one of my customers. She's a nutritionist and early years specialist. And it took me a couple of years to persuade her that Thermomix would be a really good string to her boat. So I'm delighted to have her with us as well this evening. And then we've got Yvette as well, who is also a very new advisor. Yvette is a nurse. She's not cooking this evening, but it's really nice to have you here, Yvette. So I'm going to go very quickly, just for those that don't know the machine, because I know we've got some prospective owners on here tonight as well as owners. I'm just going to give a very brief introduction to Thermomix. So Thermomix is really just about simplifying the cooking process from start to finish. It makes it very easy to plan what you're going to cook. Then you can synchronize you can come up with a menu and you can plan it a day, a week, a month in advance. You can simply add the recipes to an ingredient shopping list, and then that will shoot over to an online shopping provider. You can edit or amend your basket. Your ingredients will be delivered to your door, a bit like in the same way as a HelloFresh or Gusto Mindful Chef type delivery service does. And then once you've got your ingredients in your kitchen, the Thermomix takes over, it cooks it for you, it makes it super easy, and then it washes itself up at the end and it doesn't answer back. That's the best bit about it. They're used by professional chefs all around the world because there's simply no better piece of kit to have in your kitchen. But they're also loved in the domestic kitchen by people who can't cook. So it's quite a conundrum, really. And this is why we sell Thermomix in the way that we do, because if you had it on the shelf in a shop, people would walk past it, they wouldn't understand it. So what we want to do as part of the service we offer to you as an advisor is that we make sure that you really understand your Thermomix before you buy it. That's why we do demos. We will come to your home, we will take you through the Thermomix, or if you live far from us, we can do this online, so that you really understand what it can do and how it can benefit you before you make the decision to buy. And people buy them for very different reasons. People buy them to save time, they buy them to save, we've got a lot of people buying them at the moment to save money off their food and energy bills. It's a very energy efficient way of cooking. It makes cooking a lot of fun. It will save you money off your food bills because you will simply change the way that you shop in a supermarket and buy a lot more ingredients, which will allow you to be able to cook from scratch, which is cheaper than buying pre-made, ready or convenience meals. And even if you are already a cook that cooks a lot from scratch, you will still benefit from having a Thermomix. And that's what I think that my head round to start with. I sort of said to everybody, well, I don't need a Thermomix, I can do all of this from first principles. But actually, as I got busier with work, I found the Thermomix saved me a lot of time. But now as a chef, it just allows me to cook so much more than I wouldn't have even attempted to. So now when I make a curry, for example, for my family, we have to have homemade naans. They're so much better than naan bread that you buy in a plastic packet in the shop. You don't have the packaging, they're cheaper to make, they cost pennies to make, and they taste so much better. I'll make the mango chutney that goes on the table. I'm yet to crack poppadoms, but everything. I'll make the yogurt that goes into the naan bread. Absolutely everything is made in the Thermomix from scratch, and it does it with a fraction of the time and effort that I would have to spend if I didn't have a Thermomix. Right, my Thermomix is shutting down, so that's the way it's telling me to get on with things. So I just want to now, let me see if I can pin. Can you still see two views of me or not? Louise, can you add a spotlight to me on, hang on, let me just see if I can add a spotlight to, can you stop waving in the background, add spotlight, there we go. Right, that's what I wanted to do. So later, I don't want to join audio on that. So I just want to give you a quick overview of the Thermomix screen. So you'll notice we've got 3 dials here. We've got time, temperature, and speed. So all of our recipes are written in this format. We have, if you swipe across the screen, so the Thermomix is about 25 different appliances in one. So it really allows you to cut down on the amount of clutter that you've got around your kitchen and in your cupboards as well. And you've got all of your appliances just in one compact unit which sits on the worktop and is available to use at the touch of a button. So these are all our different modes. I'm not going to go into them in lots of detail, but as you'll see, we've got a dough mode. You can make bread, it cleans itself. You can use it as a blender. It will boil your eggs for you, so you can determine how you like your eggs cooked. You've got a thicker mode, so you can make sauces, hollandaise sauce, bechamel sauce, white sauce, cheese sauce, peppercorn sauce at the touch of a button. And this is one of the functions for me that I absolutely love, because it stops you having to stand at a hob with a pan, mindlessly stirring for 15 minutes because you've got a sous chef in your kitchen to do that for you. You can make your yogurt with it, you can slow cook, you can sous vide with it if you want to, and now you can use it as a potato peeler. And it will peel your root vegetables and your ginger and your garlic and things like that with absolutely no effort from you. So if you're making mashed potato, you can peel your vegetable or peel your potatoes, you can steam your potatoes, and then you can mash your potatoes all with one device. So it just minimises the amount of mess and clutter and equipment that you have to use in the kitchen, and all you've got to wash up at the end is your Thermomix, and it washes itself up. So they're the modes. I'm just going to show you a very quick example of a recipe that we're going to do, because it's really useful, I think, to get your head around how the Thermomix recipes look. So here's my weekly planner. We will talk a little bit more about cookie dough during some of the demonstrations tonight, where we're going on to the cooking processes. I will hop onto cookie dough and show you how that works. But say, for example, tonight I made some meatballs for my children. So here's the recipe: meatballs and tomato sauce. Start cooking. So all of our recipes are delivered via this screen. We've got over 80,000 recipes that come to you on a step-by-step format. The Thermomix walks you through the recipe step by step. It's even got inbuilt scales. You can notice I just put my hand on, the scales go up. So it will tell you exactly step, what to do, add it in, and then it will get on with mixing, chopping. So here we've got 5 seconds, no temperature, and speed 7 on the clock. So it's going to mix all of the meatball mixture together for you. And then if we just keep going through the recipe, it builds the recipe step by step until you come to the next part of the recipe. And now we're going to make the tomato sauce. The whole idea is we're adding the onions in, we're adding the garlic in. So this is fantastic for people if you're lacking a little bit of confidence in the kitchen. The whole idea about the Thermomix is it's going to give you a restaurant quality result, really a minimal input. All of our recipes are tested to deliver a fantastic restaurant quality result. Okay, so the real difference with the Thermomix as opposed to something like a food processor is it is going to cook for you. So you'll notice now as I just skip through the recipe, we've got our tomato sauce that we've built. We have chopped the onion, we've added some garlic and olive oil, and now we're going to saute those vegetables. So we've got some time on the clock, we've got 10 minutes, temperature, and we've got our instruction here saying turn the speed selector to speed 2. So that just makes the whole process of cooking really, really easy. And you will be amazed, actually, even if you're a cook that really loves cooking, for me, having the recipe on the screen just speeds the whole process up. I don't have to keep referring to a recipe book or my iPad or something and losing my place. I've got the recipe in real time delivered to me on the screen. And then all I've got to do is just press a few buttons and the Thermomix takes over and does the most laborious part of cooking for you, still leaving you free to enjoy other aspects of cooking, or just to get on with other things in your life, or even just to sit down and have a glass of wine. What's particularly nice about this recipe is that it uses this attachment which comes with the Thermomix on the top. So once you've made your meatball mixture and you've rolled them and you've put them into your Verona, for example, and you've got your tomato sauce at the bottom, then you are going to steam your meatballs over the tomato sauce, and they are going to cook while the sauce is reducing and perfectly cooking. So the meatballs are using the residual heat that's created by cooking your tomato sauce to steam. So it's a really energy efficient way of cooking. You haven't got a number of different pots and pans on hob. You haven't got your oven on. You are doing everything using one heat source, and it is a really energy efficient machine. And we have a number of customers recently that have told us just how much money they are saving on their energy bills through now having a Thermomix and cooking in this way with the Thermomix. So that's one example on cookie dough. We've got thousands, as I mentioned, I think we've got 80,000 recipes. So you can search for recipes on the Thermomix, you can search for it on the cookie dough app. I'm not going to go into it in any particular detail, but for example, if you just wanted to search for chicken, for example, and get inspired by what you've got, or what recipes you can do, let's pop in chicken. And it's going to find over 1,000 results to chicken. So you can scroll through, have a look and think, oh, I fancy cooking that, tap on it, and it's there, and it's there straight away. If you're planning your weekly meal planner, then you can add the ingredients to that particular recipe to a shopping list. You can build your shopping list, and once you're happy with it, you can then shoot that over to your online shopping provider. How am I doing for time, everyone? Then you can also create folders for recipes. So you will see here, I've got, you can create your own recipes and write them so that they appear on the Thermomix screen and add them to your cookie dough account. I'm not going to go into that this evening. And you can then, when you've identified recipes that you want to cook, you can build your own collection. So if we go into my sort of Asian or Chinese food collection, you see I've got over 100 recipes in there. Thinking about it, I think my children are all on their Xboxes, and these are all the recipes that I've collected together and think, right, I'm going to store them in my Asian cooking folder so I know where they are when I fancy doing something along a Chinese theme. Then Thermomix also produced their own cookery books every single month. We have got thousands of cookery books that you can save to your Thermomix. This is a wonderful cookery book that we are all using at the moment, and lots of our customers doing lots of recipes from the Thermomix Christmas cooking book. So these, again, they're all collected into collections by Thermomix. We do publish them as cookery books, but available on your cookie dough account as part of your cookie dough subscription. And there are some absolutely brilliant recipes on here. We've done lots of these cooking classes over the years. The Christmas tree pull-apart bread, super simple. Actually, we haven't got any bread on this evening, but making bread with the Thermomix is an absolute joy. And in fact, a lot of people have said, even though they've had bread makers in the past and they've tried bread, it just has never turned out the way they want it to. But with a Thermomix, it turns out perfectly every time. And it just speeds up the whole process from start to finish. You can make dough in around 2 minutes, and then of course leave it to ferment, and then you work with the dough afterwards. Okay, so I think that was the whirlwind introduction to Thermomix. Oh, right, I've just seen the time, so I'm going to hand over to Marie very quickly, who is going to start with the caramelized onion jam. Brilliant with cheese and lots of things. What else do we have it with? Sausages and lots of yummy things. Right, it's Marie.
Hi.
We've got Marie. Hello.
Yes. No. No.
No. Let me just remove spotlights from me. I'll try and do that. Am I still spotlighted? No, there she is.
Have you got me? Okay. Hi. So, yes, caramelised onion chutney to start off with. As Linda says, brilliant with cheeses, with your sort of cold meats and everything. And I am doing the chicken liver parfait later on as well, which it's perfect with. So I'll bring you down to the machine and show you exactly what's what, because this is a super quick and easy recipe. So easy and absolutely delicious. So I'm going to start the recipe. It's asking for 25 grams of olive oil. Quick tip, always look and see what the recipe is actually going to use that olive oil for, because it's often just for frying. So I won't use my olive oil for that, just any vegetable oil. And I also don't necessarily add in the whole amount that it asks for, because it's just for frying it off. 500 grams of red onion cut into wedges. I've already done that before us, very roughly chopped, very roughly chopped. That's the beauty of the Thermomix. Pop them in, and it's asking for the splash guard to be put on top, which we don't get to use in many recipes, and that's because it's got the high temperature function, which it's going to use for these onions to caramelize them and give us packers with loads of flavor in there. So that's going to be 20 minutes on the high temperature function, and that is done and on. So that's that for now, and we'll pop back in a bit and see how it's going.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks, Marie. So, I mean, I absolutely love caramelizing onions with my Thermomix. It's one of those sort of added wow factor things, isn't it? So often if I'm doing sausages for the kids and mash, I will make a caramelized onion gravy, and I start exactly in the way that we've just seen Marie do, sticking onions, a little bit of olive oil in, and just press start. Whereas before, we'd all have to be sat there glued to the hob, wouldn't we, with a spatula and just making sure they didn't burn and just lovingly stirring it. None of that, get on with something else. Okay, right, let's go over to Sarah now for her salted caramel fudge.
Hi guys. Right, I am going to be doing my salted caramel fudge, which is my favourite recipe this time of year, mainly because I use it as gifts. I made a load last year and handed it out to the kids' teachers. You can see I wrap it up, I get these little bags and put little bows around it.
You've obviously got too much in your hand, Sarah.
Well, I know there's a bit of packaging there, but I tried to look for environmentally friendly packaging, but I couldn't find any. So it says line a square baking tin with baking paper, which I have done. 170 grams of chocolate. There we go. It was a 180 gram bar, but we soon sorted that out between myself and my son. Right. Now in 10 seconds, it's just told us to put the lid on. This is going to chop that up, grate it in. So this is just a good way of showing how it grates chocolate. Use this in hot chocolate. I'll show you how it's done that. So my camera's a bit high.
Sarah, can you just explain, I know you just glossed, sort of very quickly said that you can use it in hot chocolate, but it's brilliant because you can use it in place of the hotel chocolate, hot chocolate, the powder that you can use in either a velvetizer, or if you've got a Thermomix, then you can just make your hot chocolate in a Thermomix. No need for a velvetizer. So there we go. That's the 26th appliance that it replaces.
No need for a velvetizer. I haven't tried that one yet, but I'm going to. Right, now I'm just getting a can of condensed milk. This does take a bit of getting out of the tin, actually. There we go. I love this. I make Nutella with this as well. My lid's going to come off in there. Hang on. Sorry, guys. It's getting a bit of a sticky old mess. All right, there we go.
I always leave a bit in the tin and lick it out at the end. I love condensed milk.
And then
does that happen right now?
60 grams of brown sugar. I did weigh that out earlier to make it a bit quicker. Okay. Then some salted butter. 120 grams of the salted butter, which I made earlier. 75 grams of the golden syrup. This is the naughty bit. It is a bit naughty, this, but you're not going to eat a whole recipe. As I say, just for this time of year, it's just a nice little treat. We'll be leaving it out for Santa. There we go. 50 grams of the liquid glucose. Let's take the top off because it's quite difficult. Sorry. My daughter's just arrived back from brownies. Right. It's quite hard to squeeze out. Now we should be around the front. And then 5 pinches of salt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Right, now I'm going to put the lid on with the simmering basket. It is really important to use a simmering basket instead of the measuring cup, which I found out last week. So the condensation doesn't run into the condensed milk when it's caramelizing. There we go. That's just going to cook for 8 minutes at 100 degrees at speed 3.
As easy as that.
So, who's going next? Am I doing my next thing as well? For me to carry on into the Biscotti.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do the Biscotti biscuits now, which I did actually try today for the first time. And wow, they look fantastic. Right, my week. This is put. There we go. Restart. So I've got the oven on, got the tray with a bit of flour on. So I'll peel an onion, just an orange. Just the peelings of the orange. 40 grams of glass of sugar. And you can see it's weighing at the same time. You can just see. There we go. So suddenly put the lid on. And that is just going to spin that for 10 seconds. There we go. So just show you. So it's complete. I think the lighting's not great here. So it's completely chop that up. Bit of moisture in there as well. There we go. Obviously, you don't need to take it off the unit. Okay. Next, a bit more caster sugar. 60 grams this time. There we go. 1 large egg. I do always crack one into a because I don't trust myself not cracking, getting eggshell in it. So I put it in the ramekin first. Then I'm going to put the lid on. And that's just going to mix that for 30 seconds. There's lots and lots of different Biscotti biscuits. Actually, I was just looking. There's a kale one that sounds great, which I might try tomorrow because I've got lots of kale in the fridge at the moment to do my healthy smoothies. And there's a fennel and orange Biscotti, which I'll be trying. But so good. Again, you can use these as gifts. These are the ones I made today. In the bag, which I will be handing out to teachers. Right. Half a teaspoon of baking paper, baking powder even. Oh goodness, it's been a long day. There we go. 130 grams of plain flour. And the dried apricots quartered. This is why I just love the Thermomix, because there's no way would I have ever attempted to make Biscotti biscuits before having a Thermomix. Well, just done that. What was I meant to put in it then? For the almonds, yes, sorry, that's right. Pistachios. Put the lid on. And that is just going to stir that. The blades are going backwards, so it's using the blunt side of this blade. So you can see that with a little green arrow for 30 seconds. Okay. My fudge is disappearing now because my daughter's a wife. So then, it's a very good example why you should read the hints and tips at the bottom of the recipes that cookie do. Because I was doing this earlier, and I was getting in a bit of a mess, and I read the hints and tips when it told me to. And you should use it with wet hands, shaking the dough with wet hands. Okay. Because this dough, even though it's on a floured surface, it can be a bit wet. Look. So you can see the dough in there. Just say you can finish stirring it by hand if you need to, but it's pretty well done. Right. Here's the challenge. What I'm going to do in a second, I'll show you a little tip. There's still quite a bit of a mixture on the blade there. So I'm going to put it back on the unit. Press the home screen. Go to turbo. I'm going to put it on there 2 seconds. Then I'm just going to give it a spin on, a quick press on turbo. Let's go back and finish it off. And then you can just press the green thing to continue on your recipe. What that has done is clean the blades. We've put all that mixture, sort of spat it off the sides. So that's the correct term. There we go. You can see this one. Right, so that is virtually everything. Every bit of mixture out of them. And then it is telling me to gently bring together into a log shape. And this is where it's telling me to see tip, which I ignored earlier. And then I read it. It says use wet hands. So, can you see them? Yeah. Maybe my tech guy. Yeah. Okay. And actually, I just roll it a bit in the paper. Then when that is rolled out, I'm going to put a little bit longer. There we go. See that? Now, I'm going to just put a bit of milk, brush a bit of milk on the top of it. Okay. And then I'm going to bake that for 20 minutes at 180. So I'm going to pop it, we've got an agar, which can be a little bit random, but I'm going to pop it in the bottom of the agar. On the baking shelf. Set timer for 20 minutes. And I'm going to leave that for 20 minutes. How are we doing with here? Scrape down the sides with a spatula. It doesn't ever need scraping down the sides actually on this one. But it's telling me to put the lid back on. And that's going to cook for another 20 minutes. That is it. And then we are over to, this paper of paper.
Should we go back to Marie? Have the onions finished caramelising?
Hi, yeah, we're 20 seconds away. We'll just let that timer run down, but we are very nearly there. So the other ingredients that go in this, next to nothing that go in it, and that's the beauty of the Thermomix, because if you look at the back of a jar of chutney that you're buying from the shops, what you'll find is lots and lots and lots of additional ingredients which nobody needs or knows what they are. But we've got a soft brown sugar to go in. We've got half a chopped chili. Now you don't have to add that if you don't want to, but I do like a little bit of zing that it brings to it, and some red wine vinegar. That's all we've got there, and then good old salt and pepper. There we go. Timer's just out, so I'll bring you back down to the machine and show you what's what there now. So we'll take our splash guard back off, and now, oh, I wish it was smell-o-vision. You can smell all those onions now, and we've got a nice colour to them as well. So all we've got to do is follow the instructions on screen. The 200 grams of light brown sugar, straight in, 200 grams of red wine vinegar. And again, the joy of having the inbuilt scales is that you're not wasting extra jugs or extra bowls to measure anything out, and it's all going straight into the bowl. And I think, there we go, perfect. And my chili, put that in there, salt and pepper, and we are good to go. There we go. That's it again, all done. It then tells you to place something on top of it again. As Sarah was saying, just to allow the steam to escape. What you don't want is for all the steam to be kept in there and for it to condensate and go down. You want to be able to allow the steam to escape, which is why you put either the varoma or the steaming basket on top to allow that to happen. So that's it, 25 minutes. I promise you, when you come back, we will have a lovely onion chutney to be looking at. How easy was that? And I promise you, it's absolutely delicious and perfect on a Christmas table.
Brilliant. Right, I think we're going over to Linda now, aren't we? To start the camembert, the steamed camembert, which is fantastic. I love this recipe. I'm very glad I'm not doing it because I would have to eat it then. And I don't want to eat any more steamed camembert because my waist is not thanking me for it. So let's go over to Linda. Louise, can you try and spot? I'm sure you're trying to find her. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. There we go, she's here.
Brilliant. Okay, are we there? Okay. I'm not sure whether I'm actually on Spotlight, but I'm going to be doing the camembert with cranberry and almonds. So if I start cooking, yeah, it's asking me to put in 50 grams of onions. So I've peeled and cut them. So they're going into the Thermomix, and then we go next. So it's going to chop these onions up, and we go next here. So for 3 seconds, there we go. So that's chopping, and then next is telling me to scrape down the sides. There's a little bit of the onion there, so I'll just push that all down back into the Thermomix for the plate. So go. So next, I've got to add my 40 grams of butter. So I made this earlier. I always make my own butter. I don't buy it, I make my own. So the 40 grams is now going in. So here we go. Right, okay, so 40 grams. Go next. Tablespoon of brown sugar. I don't think I put that away. But there we go, that's on there. And my on here. And we go next. So now I've got to put the balsamic vinegar. What I've done, I've mixed that with a tablespoon of port. I've actually used my partner's best port here because I didn't have anything else. So that's now going in. So pop that in there. Put the lid back on. And I need to place a simmering basket on the top, and instead of the measuring cup, it's going there. So next, and then this is going to caramelize for 5 minutes at 100 degrees, and I will turn the dial, and so there we go. So we will crack on with that. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's just going to cook away, isn't it, Linda, now for you for like 4 or 5 minutes. So once now it's cooking, there's really nothing extra to see. And this is one of the joys actually of having a Thermomix, because while it's doing that sort of that process that actually you always have to do, but nobody really wants to, standing there and stirring, you can just simply go and do something else. So on that note, we're going to move back to Marie, who is going to start the chicken liver parfait, one of the Thermomix classics.
Hello. Right, okie dokie. I am just sorting my onion chutney out and moving that off for the moment. And we will be doing this chicken liver parfait. Now, this is such a good starter or also item to be able to go on to a buffet table at Christmas. You can make it in individual ramekins, or you can make it in one larger pot as well. And it is absolutely delicious. It's so smooth and so tasty. Everybody thinks it's cost an absolute fortune and it's come from Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose or something like that, and it's just ridiculously easy. We're going to show you just how easy right now. So, sorry, I'm just cancelling down my last recipe and opening up. There we go. Chicken liver parfait. Okie dokie, come on down to the screen. Right, here we go. So, going to start off. The actual recipe suggests that you make some clarified butter to go on the top. Now, I'm going to skip that bit today because we're going to use our pate fresh, but making the clarified butter is really easy. You just pop your standard unsalted butter in, 250 grams of it. Take your measuring cup out, so again the steam can evaporate without any condensation happening, and that bubbles away for 10 minutes on Varoma setting, which is the highest setting. And what that does is it encourages the milk solids to separate from the fat, and you'll just run that through a strainer, through a sieve, and a paper towel. And all you get is this beautiful clarified butter at the end of it with no milk solids in. And if you pour that across the pate at the end, that will seal it in and give you a much longer life on it. But as I say, not going to worry about that today. Although I will show you one that's done with it, because I did do one like that last week. So I've still got one of those in the fridge. So I'll show you that at the end. So here we go. 2 garlic cloves straight in. Nice and easy. 2 shallots halved. Haven't actually got any shallots, so I'm just using a mild white onion today. 50 grams. And 150 grams of unsalted butter. So just chop that up. There we go, that's in. Next, pop your lid back on. And 5 seconds, that's just going to, oh, hopefully if that was back in the position properly. Try again. Oh, having a little moment. What have I done? Obviously not put something together quite right, but that's just going to chop that up together, and then it's just going to go on to cook for 5 minutes. So it's as simple as that. And whilst that is happening, then we will get on with doing the chicken livers. It asks you to prep the chicken liver, and all that you need to do there is make sure you've taken out any gristle or sinew that's come with it, and just pat it down dry after you've given it a quick rinse, so that it's not too bloody. I know liver's not everybody's favourite to be dealing with, but it does taste beautiful when it's in pate. So I'm going to hand back over to who we're going over to Lindsay now, I think, with sausage rolls. Oh, she's muted.
We're going over to Linda actually, just to do the Camembert and steam it in the Verona, I think.
Okay. So this is actually just finished. So I'll go next, and on the with the preliminary cranberries, etc. I just got to put in the almonds. Just telling me to do that, and insert the measuring cup, etc. So I can move on, because what I'll do, I'll take that out now and put another jug in, so we can start with the steaming.
This is a really great time. Can you hear me, everybody? I'm just going to, cut over Linda for the timing, just to mention that you'll notice that we all swap and change between different jugs. This month, and until the 16th of December, we've got one of the most incredible offers on Thermomix. We're offering a second bowl when you buy a Thermomix for just £30 instead of £169. So if you are considering buying a Thermomix, you've got a couple of weeks where you will be able to take advantage of one of the best offers that Thermomix do during the year, which is a second bowl at a highly discounted price. So if you want any more information about that, please do talk to your advisor. Pop something in the chat, and one of us will talk to you a little bit more about it. Back to Linda.
Okay, so I put the 500 grams of water into the Thermomix. It's then asking me to put the Verona on there. So basically, because I bought this in the wax and in everything, little carton, I've just pricked over the cellophane, popped it in there into the Verona, and then put that on there, put the lid on, and go next. It's basically telling me to line everything, but one of the tips is that if you actually buy it in a carton, you don't need to do that. You can actually pop it straight into the Verona and steam it in there. So we're going next there and secure the Verona lid, and then it's going to be 14 minutes to steam. And hopefully at the end of it all, we'll have a lovely Camembert with the cranberry and almond topping, which will be absolutely delicious. There we go.
Right, you come back to me now, Louise. Thank you. So yes, I'm very grateful, Linda, you're doing that one this evening, because I must admit, when I was having a play with this recipe a couple of weeks ago and I had a friend round, we managed to eat the whole thing between the two of us in about 10 minutes for lunch, with some of our fantastic Portuguese water grade as well. Right, so now back to me. We're going to do a couple of different types of pastry. Pastry is a real joy to make in a Thermomix. It's, again, it sums up for me what having a Thermomix is all about, just being able to cook things that you perhaps wouldn't have done really easily and quickly. And even if you're an experienced cook and you just can't be bothered to make pastry, sometimes you think, it's going to take you 10, 15 minutes to rub it all in together. Having a Thermomix will allow you to do it in approximately 15 seconds. So I'm going to start off by doing the puff pastry recipe, because I wanted to show you also how to roll it out and bring it all together. So puff pastry is something that perhaps many people wouldn't have bothered with. I only did it very, very rarely before I have a Thermomix, and now I make it every time I need a layered pastry. So whether that's if I'm making sausage rolls, if I'm making a beef Wellington, because it just makes it so easy. So here we go. So Louise, actually, can you add I might try and add a second spotlight to me. I don't know why I can't get it off my phone. I seem to have been, so co-host, let me just add a spotlight. Right, should have two. Right, so here's my recipe on the screen. So it's asking, first of all, to put in the unsalted butter. Now, again, one of the things I love about my Thermomix is that within reason, you don't have to do much washing up. So you can see I've been making pastry this afternoon. My Thermomix bowl has still got the remnants from puff pastry that I made earlier, mince pie pastry that I made earlier, the sweet orange pastry, and the topping for the Viennese wild mince pies. I haven't washed it. I don't need to wash it because I'm just using similar kinds of ingredients. So it saves my time, saves my energy, but it also saves on our natural resources as well. So we're going to put some butter in to start with, unsalted butter, just getting it out of the freezer. So the trick I found with this is not to freeze it too far in advance. I did freeze it about 4 hours ago, which I think I'll probably get away with. I did freeze it overnight the other day, and it was really hard, and actually my butter split out of my pastry when it was cooking because I don't think it was properly mixed into the flour. So I'm just going to add that all in like this. So you can see all I have cut it up into little chunks, sort of 1 to 2 centimetres. There we go. So I'm just slightly shy of 200, but that would be fine. Click on next, 200 grams of plain flour. Let's just put that in so you can see my scales counting up. Ooh. I don't know what I was doing when I was weighing out earlier, but I was under on the butter and over on the flour. Right, just take that down a little bit. Okay. Click on next. So 90 grams of cold water. It's probably slightly warmer than cold now because it's been sat there for a little time. So I'm just going to pour that in. There we are. Click on next. A little bit of salt. Half teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to put the lid on and mix it for 20 seconds. It's only 20 seconds. Not really worth trying to talk over that. There we go. There we go. So now that's done. If I just click on next here, it will just say tip out, form into a ball, and flatten into a rough square. Right, then wrap it in cling film and refrigerate. And then we're going to roll it. So I will just show you that. Here's my dough. Thermomix spatula. The Thermomix spatula. So we even give you a spatula when you buy a Thermomix, and that's because it has a number of different. I mean, it's actually pretty good at getting mixture out of a bowl, but it is fundamental in some recipes where you need to stir sometimes from the inside, and it's also got a handy little hook which hooks into the simmering basket and allows you to pull out the simmering basket without burning your fingers. So that's really quite clever. So these machines are designed and made and supplied by a company called Whirl. Whirl is a German company. It's been around for a very long time. Thermomix, unbelievably, people actually still say they've only just found out about Thermomix in the UK. They say, I can't believe Thermomix has been going for 50 years. So Thermomix is 50 years old. I know we've had some owners on here this evening say that they have had various different models. The models on keep improving. Now we've obviously got the latest TM6, which has this beautiful inbuilt touchscreen, which really is just designed to simplify and speed up your cooking process. So my dough is down. So I would just at this point flatten it down and then pop it, a little bit of cling film, as the recipe says, and put it in the fridge. But in true Blue Peter style, I love doing these, by the way. I always fancy myself being a Blue Peter presenter. I've got one that I made earlier. I'm just going to get it out of the fridge. And I thought you wouldn't really want to watch me rolling it out 3 times. So I just rolled it out earlier. I'm just going to take it out and unfold it. So what you need to do is you need to roll this is where your silicone baking mats come in really handy. So the silicone baking mat this month, we're giving one away. If you host a demo and invite 3 friends and invite your Thermomix advisor to come and show you and your friends how a Thermomix works, brilliant for new owners, because of course you find out lots of different recipes and tips and techniques so that you can get the most out of your Thermomix. But also, if you take advantage of that by inviting your friends to find out what Thermomix is about, we will give you one of these silicone mats worth £20 as a gift, just for helping us grow our community and brand in the UK. So here we go. So this is the dough that came out of the Thermomix. See, it was chilled for 20 minutes or so, and then all I did was roll it out into a long rectangle. So on the Thermomix screen, it gives you approximate dimensions, 60 centimetres by 20 centimetres. So it's around about that. So now, all I'm going to do, and you'll notice the edges are quite jaggedy, it's not very precise. I'm just going to divide it, I suppose, into thirds. So I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold a third up, and then I'm going to fold a third down. So I get a nice little package. And then I'm going to turn it. That is called, in pastry terms, your first turn. So when you see turns referenced when you're making puff pastry or croissants, same sort of thing. It's a laminated pastry. This is what it's referring to, the fact that it was that way round, you folded it, and now you're turning it 90 degrees. And then you just need to roll it out to approximately the same dimensions. Really, really easy after it's been chilled out. And you'll notice immediately that the edges are an awful lot smoother on this particular roll. So there we go. So it goes out. And I will just do it a little bit that way as well. And you can see the flecks of butter in here. You won't pick them up. But it's really important to be able to see little flecks of butter, because that's what's going to give the differentiation and the lamination with your layers. And then we do it again. So we just fold into thirds, and then we turn it again. I'm keeping an eye on my phone because it's saying low battery, so I'm going to have to go and grab a charger in a minute. So just neaten up the edges. So we've done effectively now 2 turns, and then we're going to roll again. And that will give our third turn. So generally, when you're making a laminated pastry, you would do 3 turns, because that gives you a nice amount of layers. You may need to, you can see I've got 2 mats down, so even better if you host 2 demos, you'll get 2 mats. Very useful to have the 2. So you may need to just add a little bit of flour to it, like that. And just try and get an even roll. It's not actually that easy when I've got equipment. I've got Thermomix either side of this rolling pin. But here we go. That's about 60 by 20. So again, you can either go top to bottom or bottom to top. Here we are. So I'm just going to fold it and then pop it in a bag. And it does ask you to rest this pastry. Let's just see. Repeat the rolling and folding process, wrapping things on, and return to fridge for 20 minutes. So I will just pop it in the bag, stick it in the fridge just for a few minutes to rest. But the really important thing when you're making these laminated doughs is that you chill it down in between the stages, because you don't want that butter to melt. The butter has to stay as a solid so that you get the differentiation or the lamination and that beautiful layered, puffy layered effect. So I'm going to pop that in the fridge. In fact, I might just stick it in the freezer for, oh, here's the rest of my butter in the freezer. I couldn't find it. So I'll stick it in the freezer for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get on with making the pastry for the mince pies. So I will just take you off of here, come back to my week, and then Viennese Whirl mince pies. So these got this lovely Whirl topping, which I will do actually. I have got the topping already made. and already in a piping bag. So I'm going to use the same bowl. Why not? No need to wash it. It's using pretty much the same ingredients. So 1 orange, peel only. Here we go. So I take as a general, it's a great tip actually, and I'm sure Marie does the same thing. Whenever I use any form of citrus fruit, and I do need to have a little bit of a clear out of my freezer because it has got a bit out of hand now, I always peel the citrus fruit before I use it, because having the orange peel ready frozen really does, or lemon peel if you're making a lemon drizzle cake, for example, really does speed things up. And then you can use it, you can just take it out of the freezer and use it exactly when you need it. So we're going to put the orange peel in and then some sugar. So I'm actually going to halve this recipe because I made half of it earlier. Otherwise we're going to, I mean, again, my poor waste is not thanking me for doing all this amazing cooking at the moment, because I just eat it afterwards. So I thought at least if I halve the recipe, then I won't have too many to eat. So we're going to put the lid on. And that just shows you as well, you can halve recipes. So we've now got this new function with Thermomix, that you can tell the Thermomix how many people you're going to cook for, and it will automatically adjust the recipe. I still do it in my head. So you start the brain cells at some point. There we go. 20 seconds feels like a very long time, doesn't it, when we do a Zoom and when you're a Thermomix owner? And sometimes when you're waiting for those locking arms to release, you're like, come on. So there we go. You can see I've got that beautiful, I think this is what Sarah was trying to show you earlier with the biscotti. You've got that absolutely beautiful citrus sugar. Now you can do this if you wanted to make lemon sugar. The same sort of principle with vanilla sugar. And of course, when you've got a Thermomix, you don't need to have umpteen bags of sugar. Another cost savings for you, especially we're all going to be using lots of icing sugar over Christmas. You just need to buy regular white granulated sugar when you have a Thermomix, and then you can turn it into icing sugar within 10 seconds and caster sugar within about 2 seconds. So it also saves you having lots of extra bags in your cupboard. So now we're going to add in the butter. So I should have about 60 grams. It actually isn't cold. What is going on? I've been doing very well at this whole weighing thing. I'm just going to dig out some of my butter from the freezer, which I didn't use earlier. Just make it up. There we go. Right, 120 grams of plain flour. I mean, again, just seeing how quick and easily this comes together really means that it makes some of those processes that you just think, oh, really? I'm not going to do that. I'll just buy it. When you've got Thermomix, you don't have to buy it. You can just make it. And then an egg. Now, I've halved the recipe. I often get asked, oh, what do I do if I need to half an egg? My top tip is you crack the egg and weigh it out, and then use a little fork and scramble it. And then you'll know if you need to use half an egg and your egg weighs 60 grams, then you just use 30 grams. So I should have 30 grams of egg in there, because I used 30 grams earlier. Lid on. I mean, it seems so obvious when somebody tells you that, but actually you'd be amazed at the number of questions I've had over the years. How do I half an egg? And then you turn the speed selector to speed 4, and it's just going to mix up this pastry for 20 seconds. So this is doing the whole rubbing in process for you, and it's doing it in 20 seconds. Okay, so tells me to scrape down the sides. Then it tells me to actually knead that pastry. I'm not going to knead this pastry at all. So this is again where you can go a little bit off these. These recipes are guided. You do not need to follow them to the letter. If you want to omit a certain step, or you want to add more or less of something, you have got full manual control, so you can. So I am just going to tip this dough out, because for me, dough should not be, or pastry dough in particular, should not be kneaded. You do not want to encourage that gluten development. So here's the pastry. Really lovely. We'll just try and see if we've got my spatula to hand. I'm going to scoop that out, a little bit of extra flour. And then on the recipe on the screen, it will tell you to, again, shape it into a ball and wrap it in either a silicone wrapper or some cling film or a little bag and leave it to chill for an hour. I'm telling you can use it straight away if you're in a real rush. So it rolls out absolutely perfectly. So I'll just show you that very quickly, although probably I'm not going to spend too long doing it. So a little bit of flour down. And then small rolling pin this time. Yes, I do have lots of different types of rolling pins. And then just roll it. Okay. And it's really, you see how easily it rolls and how beautifully it's behaving. And you can see the beautiful like orange zest within the pastry. So there you go, that's your pastry. Right, I'm just gonna leave that to one side because I've got, here's some I made earlier. So I just made half a batch earlier and filled it with the homemade mincemeat. This mincemeat is absolutely delicious. Until I had my Thermomix again, never made mincemeat before, couldn't be bothered. I mean, I actually don't know why I thought it was going to be a bit of a faff, but I did. But the Thermomix, you don't even have to soak your fruit overnight because the Thermomix heats everything up. You add your suet in. It is no more than 10 minutes start to finish, of which 5 minutes you're not really doing anything. And again, little tip, I've started to use this in everything. It's a little bit more expensive than just buying dried mixed fruit, but this is from Lidl, this brandy soaked fruit. And it is absolutely delicious. I did my Christmas pudding with it, and I do my mincemeat with it. So I've got a whole jar of mincemeat there, but I'm sure I'll find, we'll be making many more mince pies in the run up to Christmas. Right, just going back to the recipe. This is for the Viennese Whirl mince pies. Now, you don't have to do them, they're just standard mince pies. You could roll out some dough, cut it out with cutters and put it on the top to make more of a traditional pie. Or you could make the Whirl topping, which is essentially a buttercream with some flour in it. And then once you've made your Whirl dough, put it into a piping bag. I just did this earlier. I did actually do this on a cook along with customers last week, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But if you want to know how to fill a piping bag properly and how to pipe with it, just go and have a look for the Christmas cook along that we did on my YouTube channel. I uploaded that, so you'll be able to find that under the Christmas cook along. The other thing that the Thermomix will do is we've got on-screen video tutorials. So this is about making it really quick and easy for somebody who doesn't necessarily know what they're doing, who's got a Thermomix to make all this amazing food, but there'll be sometimes some skills that you might not sort of quite get your head around or know what to do. So we've got these little on-screen tutorials. Can you see there? I'm just going to show you exactly how to fill a piping bag. There we go. So you're putting your nozzle in and then you just pop the topping in. Right, I'm going to stop that. Okay, so I'm just going to come back to me here. And then I absolutely love piping. I find this really therapeutic. And here we go. So let's see this. So to pipe the topping on here, I am going to start from the centre. I'm going to be slightly controversial actually, because I think the Thermomix will tell you to pipe from the outside, but I prefer to pipe from the centre. I'm just going to come around and just do a little whirl. You can't see that. So start from the centre, come around and do a little whirl. You see, I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just going to do a few so you get the idea. And these look absolutely beautiful. And there is a gluten-free recipe actually on here. So if you're gluten-free, the gluten-free Viennese Whirl mince pies are super as well, because I've done both of them. So I like to have a play. So I still can't believe I've got so much topping there. This I made for a cooking class a couple of weeks ago, and it's still in the fridge. It just seems to, I don't know if it's growing or like replicating itself, but I can't actually, I've made loads of mince pies since then and it's still going strong. Right, so back to the puff pastry. So what I'm going to do now is just make some sausage rolls and use my puff pastry, which I put in the freezer. I'll halve it actually. I don't want to make loads. These are going to be used for kids' lunch boxes tomorrow. So I will just half this recipe, half the pastry, so I don't have to make loads. And then you can keep this in the bag in the freezer. I mean, I used some puff pastry that I made last week. I used it the other day, or yesterday actually. It was absolutely fine. I just had it in the bag in the fridge. It will go slightly brown because the starch grains will discolour, but it's still absolutely fine to use. Or you can freeze it if you want to. So just give my pastry a little roll out. I'm going to change rolling pin actually, because it's a smaller piece. Can you see how beautifully and quickly it rolls? And then not too thick. A nice even thickness on this. What that is, maybe 3 mil, 3 or 4 mil. That's where you see my kitchen geekiness comes in. I'm sure nobody really cares how thickly they roll out pastry, but sometimes I get a ruler out and measure it. Drives my kids mad. Right, so again, nice tip. I've got a pack of sausages here. It's actually cheaper to buy sausages and take the skins off than it is to buy sausage meat, which I don't really understand. So you want to take the skin off. I'll just get rid of that. The sausage. And then pop it, and this it also means it's lovely and neat as well when you pop it in. Pop it into your pastry, and then we're just going to do the roll. I mean, if I was going to do this without really rushing through it, obviously I'd make sure that I would have I'd have enough that actually sort of fills the width of the pastry. But I'm just going to give you a basic idea of what to do with it. So just going to roll it over like this. And then we're going to just press the pastry down. And you get a lovely, neat sausage roll, which is really pleasing when you've got slight OCD in the kitchen. I have. And just give it a little come down like that. Score across the top. And I'll pop that on a baking sheet and just brush it with a little bit of egg or milk wash, and that is ready to go into the oven. So you just bake that for 18 to 20 minutes, depending on the size of the sausage that you're using. And you've got your own homemade sausage rolls. Absolutely delicious. Right, so I think that's me done now. And we're going to go back to Marie for the chicken liver parfait.
Hi. So I actually wasn't sure if you were coming back to me at this stage or not. So all I've done is I have rinsed those chicken livers off, patted them dry with added some salt and pepper to them, popped those in along with 100 grams of brandy. And those have just gone in for 8 minutes cooking. So we've got another 5 minutes on that at the moment. And then if you come back to me, I'll show you adding just the last ingredients, blitzing it all together and getting this beautiful parfait. So I think we are over to Claire, I think.
Let's go back to Claire. We'll go over to Claire. There's Claire there.
Lindsay, which Claire?
Yes. Oh, Claire Adam. Now I've got her now.
Oh, thank you.
You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was just doing some links. So I'm going to do the cranberry sauce for everybody. So this is a great recipe. You can do it in advance. I'm going to make it tonight. I'm actually going to freeze it and serve it up on Christmas Day, although nobody in my family will actually eat it apart from me, probably. But yeah, so I'm going to freeze it afterwards. So I'm going to do the sauce. I've pre-prepared some of the things. So I'm going to show you. I've already done the sugar and the orange peel. So I've just taken some orange peel and some light brown sugar and put that together and blitzed it. I think Lindsay or somebody talked about it earlier, doing that with sugar and how you can just buy ordinary granulated sugar, save some money. and turns into icing sugar or caster sugar. So I've done that first, and I'm just going to go into the recipe. I'll just turn the thing down. So onto my cranberry sauce. It's a very quick recipe. I'm going to start cooking. So the first things are peel your orange, put that in, and your sugar, and blitz it just for 15 seconds. And from there, I'm going to add in my cranberries. So I've got some fresh cranberries. I bought them in Morrison's today. You can get them in Sainsbury's. I think you get them in most supermarkets at the moment. Oops, some on the floor. The ones that are left in the packet, I've just actually frozen those. So I'm probably going to do something like the Camembert, because that looks delicious. And I've put them in there. And I'm now going to put some orange juice in, 50 to 60 grams of orange juice. Actually, I've got a little bit more than that, but I do have to do some water. So it's actually got up to 100 grams. And I'm going to add a little bit of water in there, asking for 100 to 160 to 170 grams of water to make it up to 220. So I'm just going to put in 120 grams. Okay. Okay, so I'll put that in. And put the lid on. I'm going to put the simmering basket on the top, which I've lost. Where is it? There it is. And I'm going to start cooking that just for 10 minutes. Okay, so that's going to cook away for 10 minutes.
Okay, I think we're going back to Linda now. I'm just answering a question on the chat. So if we can go over to Linda, Louise, that'd be great. I just removed pin from Claire. Yes, there we are. There she is. Linda, right, you get hours with your brandy butter, or have you been drinking all the brandy?
No, not yet, but that I did make some brandy butter yesterday. I took some mince pies and brandy butter to my networking group, and they all loved it. So brandy butter, I can eat it by the spoonful, which is, you know, a bit ridiculous. But anyway, where we are, it's telling me here. So place a jug into the mixing bowl, onto the mixing bowl to actually measure the brandy. But I've already measured the brandy, so we carry on, go next. So it says that, so really what we're going to do now, I've put the butterfly whisk into the Thermomix because we're going to make butter. I'm not sure how many people actually make the butter. I make my butter, as I said before, all the time. So I absolutely refuse to buy butter at the price that it is. So carton of cream, butter. So you go next. So it's asking me to put in 300 grams of pouring whipping cream. I use double cream normally. You can, and whipping cream. I'm going to put the whole carton in because I need some more butter anyway. So we're going to put that all in there like that. And go next. It's asking me to put the lid on and the measuring cup. And I changed that a little bit because I put a little bit more in. So I'll put 130 and turn it, the dial, round to a 3.5 4 in here. And you'll hear how it will change in sound and speed. There is absolutely no way that you're going to make butter by turning it from any other way. So I can already hear that it is now changing from cream, and hopefully we will get to the point in a few seconds time where it will tell me that it actually has turned into butter and buttermilk. Hope you can hear me because it's quite good. So if it's worked, it's working, it's going. So it shouldn't be too long before it actually gets to where it needs to be. I mean, I used to shape milk in a jar and get a tiny little bit of butter out of it when I was a little girl. Now I just do it all the time.
And if you have your cream at room temperature before you start this, it turns into butter a lot quicker.
So
Actually,
the same noise
what
like
we're
that.
doing.
Oh, there we go. So just waiting for it to finish off, and we have the butter actually in there. What I'm not going to do, which is the next stage, is to strain the liquids and wash everything in there. So I'm going to get next to and bring in.
Linda, let's just have a look at it quickly before you. Let's have a look at what's in your bowl. Show us what's in your bowl.
It's almost there. Look, you can see the butter is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So what I would do then, I would strain it off, put it in a sieve, wash it off, and do it that way. Normally, I would take sort of a bit of kitchen roll and absorb all the moisture, and then roll it out. I freeze mine and put it in the freezer. Cut it up beforehand, take out what I need. So I'm just going to pop that there and get my jug here with some that I've made earlier. So we will go next here. Okay, so it's all the bits. It's saying squeeze out the liquid from the butter. So now it's asking me to add 120 grams of icing sugar, and as lots of Thermomix owners know, that you can take it from granulated to caster and then to icing sugar. So I'm now going to put in 120 grams of icing sugar. Let's put a little bit more in. Okay. I didn't wait. I actually did the icing sugar. Might need all of this. Actually, there we go. Almost there. It's like making a buttercream, really. So we go next now. So we are now at the icing sugar. Going to insert measuring cup. So I put the butter in. And insert the measuring cup. Okay. And 30 seconds. So it's just mixing it up now for 30 seconds. It's almost like making a butter icing, but
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
with the brandy. So it's mixing that up now. Go. And plus, if you use icing sugar, it absorbs it a lot quicker and a lot nicer. So here we go, just waiting now. So as you can see in there, it's just like buttercream. So now go next, and I need to add my brandy, which I'll add the 40 grams of brandy. So what it's wanting me to do is to actually pour it in gradually so that it will mix it into. So it says a teaspoon at a time. So we will go with that now. So it's going to go 20 seconds at speed 4, and I will be pouring in the brandy. So just gradually, slowly.
Linda, I'm making sure it's going in rather than in
yeah
in your mouth. I know what you like.
There we go. So all the brandy is in there now. They're mixing. So there we go. And so it's all the brandy is in there now.
Yeah.
It absolutely it smells great. Just it smells so Christmassy. When you get the brandy in there, you just smell Christmas. You just think Christmas. So basically what's in now is transfer into a sealable container and roll into a shape. And then obviously you can cut it off and use it as you want to on your Christmas pudding or your mince pies, and enjoy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Linda. That was lovely. So yeah, it's amazing just the versatility that the Thermomix brings, isn't it? To be able to just do all these different things from scratch that you probably wouldn't have bothered with. And also really good for getting you out of a fix, because I am very disorganised when it comes to some things in my life. And I always forget to buy brandy or rum butter, and now you can make your own. A bit like making your rum sauce. So you can make a white sauce in a Thermomix, add some rum to it, click thicken, and you've got a beautiful rum sauce that can go with your Christmas pudding as well. So that, we've come to the end of the demonstration now. I do want to just go around everybody and so you can show you the various things that you've made. Just quickly before I do that, we've only been cooking for an hour because we're real well, an hour and 5 minutes. So I think you can see what we've achieved to do in an hour. Obviously, we've been doing different things and slotting in between, and we've had various different Thermomixes on the go, but it is amazing what can be done in a very short space of time. So if you are interested in buying a Thermomix, please talk to the advisor that referred you to this Zoom this evening. If you don't have an advisor, then just get in contact with me. You'll have the details from the Zoom registration. So get in touch and I will direct you to the best person to go to. The other thing is just to run through very quickly the ways that you can pay for a Thermomix. There's 3 ways to buy a Thermomix. First, you can buy it outright on a card. The Thermomix costs £1,189. I hope we've shown you why it is worth the money. We know as owners, and it is just one of these things that we hear time and time again, that people tell us they wish they bought the Thermomix the first time they saw it. They find the price off-putting. We always say to people, don't worry about the price, it will pay for itself, and it genuinely does. You've only got to be saving yourself around £1 a day for your Thermomix to pay for itself. And again, please talk to your advisor, because we will show you and talk to you about the best ways of doing that. So you can pay outright on a card. You can also spread your payment over 1, 2, 3, or now 4 years. On a 1-year plan, just to give you an example, the payments are about £100 a month. On a 2-year plan, they're about 50. On a 3-year plan, it's about 30, 36, I think. And then on a 4-year plan, it is just less than £30 a month. So that is less than £1 or 98p a day, which is just fantastic value for money. You will save double, triple that, even probably more, by having a Thermomix in your kitchen and just changing the way that you cook. I can do that in just making a couple of recipes every single day, and we're doing that day in, day out. Or you can earn your Thermomix for free with some time. So if you are thinking about having a new opportunity, you'd love a Thermomix, you'd rather have one for free, then please ask your advisor or talk to me about becoming an advisor. You will notice that we are all, I would say, professional amateurs. We love our Thermomix to pieces. We've all become owners before we become advisors, and we became advisors because we absolutely love showing our passion for this life-changing machine. So if that sounds like something that you would like to do, and of course, owners, you can do that as well. If you wanted to earn a second Thermomix for free, for example, then please do talk to your advisor about that, and we will be able to tell you a little bit more. So you've got 3 ways of doing it. For free, you can spread your payments, or you can buy outright on a card. And hopefully we've shown you this evening why a Thermomix is the best piece of kit that you can have in your kitchen, and how it is just incredible value for money. It will save you time, it will save you effort, it will save you money off the food bills, it will save your energy, it will save your energy bills. Yeah, We absolutely love them. So let's just go around the team. I haven't got anything to show you because everything of mine's gone in the fridge. I will bake it tomorrow. But you can, if you don't already follow my customer group on Facebook, please do feel free to join the Thermomix with customer group, because of course we'll share the results of tonight's cookathon on there as well. So let's just go around the team. Should we start in the order that we cooked? So Sarah, if you go over to Sarah Louise and you can show us your fudge and your biscotti.
My fudge is it's in the baking tray. Just cooling. I'll pop that in the fridge tonight. I have just poured in there, sprinkled it with some rock salt, and I will leave it to cool. This is some I did yesterday, and that will be going into my little packages. And this is the biscotti. We have got some on here. It's just cooling. Again, this is what I did this morning. It's just superb. And yes, you can swap the almonds in with anything, cranberries, whatever you like.
Which does not do the classics, does it?
In the honeycomb. Now, when the honeycomb, when you break it up, you've got a few crumbly bits. Now, I make chocolate mousse, and I just stick, perhaps it on here, stick the honeycomb on top as a little decoration, just so you can use up those broken little bits of honeycomb. I know we didn't cook that tonight, but it's one I did today, and a bit of a favourite. So that is my stuff.
Brilliant. Okay, let's go to who's next? Was it Marie with your caramelised onion jam and your chicken liver parfait?
Yeah, actually, I've just got the parfait to finish off. So I will just show you that. And I'll show you then one that I've made earlier. So we've basically got everything in there all cooked off. All of the ingredients in there are all cooked off. We just pop the lid on with the measuring cup in place, and we are just going to blitz that for 20 seconds. And then we're going to add the cream in, and that will just be finished off, and we'll dish it up into some ramekins. So it's just had the onion, the garlic, the chicken livers and the brandy in there. So we've not got anything excessive going in there at all. Exactly what you would expect. And all we're going to do now is add in the double cream. I've got 100 grams of double cream to go in, just to make it beautiful and rich and luxurious. I'm going to give it a very quick scrape down from the sides. And we're going to give it one more quick blitz. And I've already seasoned it, so that's that. Ooh. And it tells you
to you, Marie, having this to eat tonight or tomorrow.
It does tell you to increase your speed as you go along, all the way up to speed 7. And that's just to make sure you get a really fine blend on there.
A lot for professional
There we
chefs
go.
To make their chicken liver parfaits. I think Angela Hart, it's one of the things Angela Hartnett does with hers. She makes all of her pâtés in the Thermomix. Yeah,
absolutely. Just, this looks literally, it is like literally like liquid, but it smells so good. But that's so smooth. So literally you can just pour that out into your ramekins, nice and easy, just like that. And then you just need to pop them into the fridge to firm up. Now, the longer you leave them in the fridge, the tastier they actually become. It really matures in flavour. And I was saying earlier on about having one with clarified butter on it. That was one that I've done before with clarified butter on it, so that will stay. And that is your pâté inside. So you've got your butter, you've got your pâté on there, and that served with some bread. And this was the onion chutney from earlier as well. So that makes a very nice tea, which I shall be going and having shortly.
Fantastic.
With, of course, homemade bread made in the Thermomix as well, yes. Obviously.
And some homemade Baileys or cocktails. Right, let's go over to Linda for the steamed camembert.
Okay, so my camembert, you can see, probably see here, it's melted absolutely beautifully, and the topping of the cranberries and the almonds and onion is just going to make it absolutely delicious. So I'm going to have that for my tea tonight with some crackers, and and the brandy butter. This is some I made yesterday in order to take it to my networking. It absolutely is delicious. It's better than anything you can buy in any supermarket. It's all the natural ingredient. I mean, it just tastes so creamy, so different, as does all the recipes that you get with your Thermomix.
Thanks, Linda. And let's finally go to Claire, last but not least, with her cranberry sauce. Is it finished cooking, Claire?
Yeah,
you had to wait the whole time
that's
to do
right.
cranberry sauce.
So my cranberry sauce has actually finished cooking. So after the first stage, I added in some more sugar and some port, and so I now have cooked that through as well. So I've got a lovely sauce here, which you may be able to see. While it was doing, I've actually got another Thermomix, so I have used the varoma to steam and sterilize some jars. So they're nice and sterilized. They've been done in the varoma. If you actually look on the recipe, it gives you the tips on what to do, but basically 20 minutes with some water in the bowl and steam those, and to sterilize them. And I'm going to use a little trick, put the lid of the Thermomix over the jar so that when you pour your sauce in, it doesn't spill all the way down the sides. So I'm just going to fill up those jars, and then I will probably stick them in the freezer until Christmas Eve and bring them out then. So
And it's a lovely little gift, a beautiful colour and handmade sauce. Yeah. Put a nice little bow around it and make it. Love it. And a lot of these make some nice edible gifts. As Sarah said, the biscotti and the salty caramel fudge, you know, even a little bit of pate. I'm sure my neighbours would be very happy to receive a little hamper of all the products that we've made this evening. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We have run slightly over, but only by sort of 10, 15 minutes. I hope you've got out of this how easy and effortless catering for Christmas, or just in general, really, a Thermomix makes your life. It's a lot of fun. We have them for all sorts of different reasons, because we love to cook, because we don't like to cook. There isn't a single universal reason why people love their Thermomix, and thank you everybody who's contributed to the chat, just giving us a few reasons in the chat why you love yours. But one thing is for sure, nobody ever regrets buying a Thermomix, and it is our job as advisors to support you on your journey and make sure that you get the most out of it. So when you buy a Thermomix, you also get an advisor with it, and we are passionate about helping everybody get the most out of their Thermomix. And a part of that is obviously inviting you to classes like this that we run for your benefit. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you to my team as well for doing this with me this evening. We always really enjoy doing it for you, and we hope to see you at another demo very soon. Last date for ordering is the 16th of December for guaranteed Christmas delivery. So if you are thinking about buying one, please get in touch with the advisor that invites you to Zoom and get your order in. You believe you me, you want this thing before Christmas so you can play with it, and you know exactly what you're doing and what you're going to be cooking, and you will never look back. Thanks everyone. Right, so let's stop recording. How can I stop recording? Is it? It's recording. Yeah, stop recording.